AJ, is there anything important you would like to say?
Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl!
Allied Rivals.
Wrong sport. My bad.
Dude,
sorry.
if you're still thinking about it, I mean, it's important, AJ, that Matt Stafford won. You know AJ's just thinking about this constantly, and if you watch the last episode on the Super Bowl review, you know AJ's about to buy some expensive Matt Stafford jersey or something or other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Caleb Diego knows, because Caleb Diego was there with us.
What's up, man?
Well, Caleb and all viewers, it is time to talk about the NBA trade deadline.
Yes, sir.
Is done.
Yep.
No more trades happening now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was a lot that happened. I mean, we're going to talk about the big one at the very end, which was a little bit of a shocker to some of us, but let's start with the less important ones, AJ.
Let's do it.
And not that these men are any less important, but
right, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The Cavs traded for Caris Levert.
Yeah.
Rubio and picks are all going to the Pacers. So, AJ, what'd you think of this thing?
Honestly, I thought this was really big for the Cavs. I mean, this is a team that kind of showed up out of nowhere and has incredible depth when it comes especially to point guard. And then also in terms of big men, they have a lot of stuff there. Getting a guy like Caris Levert, pure scorer, 18 points a game right now. He just dropped, 22 at the Pacers again. So I think this is a good move for the Cavaliers. This is a team that shockingly, I think all of us are pretty shocked, can make a deep run at the playoffs. So I'm pretty happy with the Cavaliers for this one. Rubio's great, but we know the Cavs have some pretty good depth. Darius Garland, if Colin Sexton's ever 100%, and then Rajon Rondo actually hasn't looked bad in the games he's played in. So, I'm not mad about this. Indiana gets picks, and the Cavs get a scorer that they need. What do you think, Cade?
You kind of hit it right on the head, AJ. I mean, I think the Cavs, just looking at this, won the trade. They got Caris Levert, and Rubio's fine. He's not something super special, though. I think the value that the Pacers got was the picks. I think they're kind of starting a mini rebuild here, and they just need picks. They're just taking all they can get to start a new young team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think their values in Rubio anymore. It's the picks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
AJ, inform me and the viewers about this. The Trailblazers are clearing up cap space?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they did a lot of stuff this year. And this year, the Blazers, we all knew, went in as maybe the most confusing team in the NBA. This is a team with Dame and CJ, Yusuf Nurkic, and like a lot of solid players, but they've never been able to get over the hump that is, the second round, except for that one time. But it hasn't been great for Portland recently in the last couple of years. And so you've got two people on two different sides. Like, hey, you either got to go all in with this team or just house fire, get rid of Dame, get rid of CJ, and we start all over again. Instead, they traded away Norman Powell and Robert Covington, sent them off to the Clippers, and then they trade CJ McCollum, which I know broke a lot of Blazers fans' hearts, along with Larry Nance Jr. and Tony Snell, to the Pelicans. But what they got out of all this stuff, Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who, he then got dealt to the Jazz eventually, but still. Tomas Satoransky, they got a first-round pick from the Pelicans, Eric Bledsoe. So they really just cleared up a lot of cap space. And so I think if I'm the Blazers front office, I'm thinking, look, Dame isn't 100%. He's not healthy. We're not going to make a run this year. Free agency doesn't look bad next year. So I feel like the Blazers are gearing up to try to get somebody big next season to team up with Dame.
I think for sure, because they have, it looks like 60 to 75 million in cap space now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work with that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And especially since Dame isn't 100%
yep.
and everything, you really need another guy that can take over and handle the team by himself.
Right.
So Blazers are going for someone big here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they even, I completely forgot to mention, they got Joe Ingles because Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I mentioned, got traded. They got Joe Ingles, former 6th Man of the Year candidate from Utah. That's not a bad grab to have next year for someone for some points.
Yep. Well, let's move on to
this is your favorite one, Cade.
This is my favorite one right here. It's not one I totally understand.
So do you want to rant about it for a little bit?
I don't know.
All right. Well, how about I remind you about what happened first? So the Kings got Domantas Sabonis, Justin Holiday, Jeremy Lamb, and a second rounder from the Pacers, and traded Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson, who is now on the Bulls because of contract buyouts.
Dude, look, Sabonis is worth a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sabonis is a legend. Let's just put it that way. He's a great player. He was the Pacers' best player. And I think the Kings might have gotten the better of this deal.
Really? Interesting.
I think so.
It's
Interesting. Weird, and it could work out totally different. I mean, the Pacers obviously got more guys. I think on face value, more value.
Interesting.
But I think Sabonis could offer something bigger than he has with the Pacers so that he doesn't have to have so much on his shoulders. I think the Kings will be a great fit for him.
Interesting. Yeah.
Go Kings.
Interesting. Yeah. For me, Sabonis out of Indiana makes sense. That's not a team that's going to be competing anytime soon. But to me, neither are the Kings, really. I mean, look, no disrespect to De'Aaron and
Fox.
Sabonis. And I love Harrison Barnes. I don't even know why, but I really like him. But I don't see, is this like a major push to get to the play-in? Because I don't see him going very far in a Western Conference that is kind of absolutely, especially top heavy. Like top 6 is insane right now for them. So Domantas Sabonis, he's an all-star. We know this is a very, very good 18 and 10 type player who will give you that every single night. But at the same time, I'm just a little bit confused. And I thought the Pacers did a great job this trade deadline. Levert isn't here. Sabonis isn't there. Unfortunate for them. They're losing great players, sure, but they're also getting big contracts off the books. They get back Tyrese Halliburton, who's having a breakout season this year, getting back Buddy Hield, which is weird to me to say. He's almost becoming like a veteran presence here, which it makes no sense to me, but he's almost becoming a veteran presence. I remember watching this guy, I think, what was it, Oklahoma? I think it was Buddy Hield was when. It's crazy to me. But I think that the Pacers did a really good job just at this deadline. For me, not even just with this trade, but I think overall the amount of trades they made, I was really happy with them.
And the big reason I liked the Kings for this one is because I feel like the Kings have pieces that just need strengthening. Like their offense, they still score 110, 115 points a night. But I mean, that's still not enough to keep up with like the Suns or anything. I think their push is to get into the play-in.
Right. I mean, they haven't made playoffs in 18 years or something.
Right. And I think they could very well do it with Domantas Sabonis. Fair. And I mean, De'Aaron Fox is great. Just the two of them working together. Sabonis is going to help a bunch on the boards. He doesn't turn the ball over a ton. And he's not going to shoot you a bunch of threes, but he's a pretty consistent mid-range shooter, which is cool. So Kings are just trying to change it up a bit.
Fair enough. But I know you're even more excited to talk about this one, which I will gladly let you talk about.
Okay. If you haven't heard, there has been a big 4-way trade, including my Milwaukee Bucks. But first, before we talk about the Bucks, let's get to the other 3 parts.
Okay.
Kristaps. Yeah. Okay. This was interesting.
You are not a fan, I take it.
No, I don't know, dude. I thought Luka and Porzingis worked so well together.
Really? Interesting.
Did you not?
I didn't. So? Okay, well, I'll say this. I think Luka and Porzingis is a fine fit when Porzingis is healthy. And that's the problem for a Mavs team. So I'll get my piece really quick and then let you speak. For a Mavs team that at this point is kind of trying to push for a playoff spot at this point, Kristaps Porzingis getting consistently banged up is not going to help. And I know a lot of people are going to look at Spencer Dinwiddie and be like, this man's shooting 34% from the field. But he was also a guy who averaged like 21 a night last year. So for the Mavericks, this is a very risky trade because you're giving off a great guy in Porzingis, but you're also getting money off the books for, I mean, it's kind of bad contract for bad contract. Porzingis is a giant contract for Dinwiddie's giant contract too. But I mean, if he gets back to his normal form, especially comes playoff time, you know, that 20 points per game guy, the Mavericks aren't going to be looking that bad in terms of scoring points. And plus, allowing him to leave, it was Dorian Finney-Smith, 4-year extension for him, allowed them to lock up one of their big pieces for a couple of years. But I think are you just like bored with this trade or what? I can tell you.
No, it's just. I think the Mavs lost this one because they had Boban.
Yeah.
Who's like 7'4", 7'5" at
He's
center.
Huge. Yeah.
Porzingis 7'3" at power forward. And so even though neither one of them is like defensive player of the year,
but Boban is Boban, to be fair,
or whatever. I love Boban. Boban's
he's
hilarious.
So fun. He's
so
awesome.
Fun.
I love it.
I just felt like you had just so much big man power in this thing, and Luka's somewhat big too. Like Luka's not small.
Well, I mean, part of that is some people questioning his training regimen, but that's a whole nother issue. But yeah, Luka's a big dude. You're
Luka's
right.
A big guy, and you're losing 5 inches from Porzingis to Bertans.
True.
And
I'll give you that. That's true.
You're still maintaining that big guy presence, but man, it was so hard to beat those guys in the paint when Boban and Porzingis are playing in there.
That's true.
And they're losing an element of both their defense and their offense with that.
Fair. That's true. Fair enough.
Yeah. What's another part of this trade? What we had the Clippers.
Yeah. Oh, for the big one.
Sorry, the big one, the 14.
For the big one, it was Bucks.
Let's go to the 14.
Clippers, Kings, and Pistons.
So yeah, let's just talk about my Bucks.
There you go.
Bucks
Take it away, Caedmon.
I just pulled Serge Ibaka in a Donruss pack.
Check out the shorts.
Watch that shorts. So that's kind of fun. We needed a big guy. I don't know why we cut DeMarcus Cousins. I think that was maybe foolish. Maybe it was like bad in the locker room or something, like not good for the team morale and team spirit and that kind of stuff. Because I don't know. He was a great player. So it had to be something off the court that we didn't see. So I'm really happy we got Serge Ibaka. He's a bigger guy, and he's not a stud, but he's someone that's been in the league for a little while and hopefully can get this team far in the playoffs because we need it. Brook Lopez is not playing again this year.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah. For me, this was kind of like an all around, I think, good trade for everybody. Clippers get a vet in Rodney Hood from Milwaukee. Kings get Dante DiVincenzo, who sure he's good for points every now and then, but he also was not the most consistent. Caedmon, you can attest to this. He wasn't the most consistent point scorer.
I can
on the Bucks.
Attest to that.
Yeah. So Bucks lose him. Pistons get Marvin Bagley, great role player, great big guy. Bucks get Serge Ibaka, who's been one of my favorite players in the NBA for ever since he was on the Thunder. I just thought it was cool how everybody's freaking out over Harden and KD and Russell Westbrook, and Serge Ibaka is just a big dude in the paint, just doing his job, getting points and boards every single game. I love Serge Ibaka, man. He's a great locker room guy. I think he's gonna fit well with the Bucks. I think he's gonna work well if you ever need like two really big men down. You need either Lopez or Serge Ibaka if you're running a little bit smaller at point through small forward. If Giannis needs a break, I think it's a nice little rotational piece for him. So, and he's an established vet. This is a guy who's won the NBA Finals before. Let's not forget. So he knows what it takes to win.
True that. Well, let's keep it moving here, AJ, because we got some more stuff. But AJ, a lot has been said. Maybe the most out of all this trade deadline has been said about this. The Lakers' silence.
Yeah.
Okay, we've all seen it, or at least I'm pretty sure we've all seen it. LeBron had many things he could have chosen to do. Get rid of AD, get rid of Russ Westbrook, completely rebuild that Lakers team, or go back to the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Or go back to the
looks like none of that has happened. Looks like he's just rolling with what he's got. Let me tell you, it is not a smooth ride.
I need my LeBron James All-Star clipboard. I need my my LeBron James clipboard. Something like that. That's what I need.
Yeah, he didn't choose any of those. He still has Russ Westbrook, still has AD. They did not try to go and get 50 guys before the trade deadline, and he is currently not with the Cavaliers. Which means, AJ, what does that mean?
Look, it means that the Lakers, I feel like, realized they probably weren't going to make a giant push this year. And I know a lot of people have been hating on Russell Westbrook. And to be fair, he hasn't been the elite talent they wanted him to be. I'll say that. A lot of people really hate how he's playing. And yeah, he's made a lot of bad shots this year. And he's missed free throws, but he just came up clutch. I think he's realizing his role in the team more as the season goes on. And then with AD, he's out for another 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah, if you didn't notice, last night, AD went down with another ankle injury. And as of yet, we still don't know the severity of it. And so he's going to be gone for anywhere between half a week to 2 months. We're not sure. The projection's about a month, but still. And it's not like the Lakers had that many trade pieces. But Taylor Horton Tucker, they traded away all of their other stuff to get Russell Westbrook. And their first pick is in 2027. That's their first pick that they could have possibly traded away. The Lakers didn't have any major trade pieces that they could even use at the deadline. And if you've noticed our thumbnail, the best thing that a lot of people thought they could trade for was John Wall. Big contract for big contract, and hope Wall works out better than Westbrook. So to me, the Lakers silence means, look, we're going to have to wait till next year and reset, because the situation that we've gotten ourselves in, a lot of aging veterans, hasn't been working out health-wise, offensive scheme-wise, and the team's in turmoil right now. And a lot of people are pointing out, y'all could have traded for Marvin Bagley, who's like a 20 points per game scorer this year for the same package, but that didn't happen. But regardless of the decisions they made in the past, right now they didn't have enough to be able to make any kind of major trade.
Yep. I was really hoping LeBron would go back to the Cavs.
What world would that even work in?
That would have been dope. That would have been cool, because LeBron will never be anything that great to Lakers fans. Just saying.
Whoa. Well, okay, well, sure, because, well, yeah, but also he's like hometown hero and everything, so.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Lakers are going to have some fun in the offseason. But, AJ, we haven't talked about your Bulls yet. Not much, not a whole ton happened, but how do you feel about the trade deadline?
Yeah, and I think we can amend that from not a whole lot happened to nothing happened. We did absolutely nothing at the trade line. And a lot of people thought we were going to have to try to make some kind of trade for Jeremy Grant, who has turned into like a defensive beast in the paint this year. He's averaging 19 points a game with Detroit. And Jeremy Grant is still in Detroit at this point. And so part of me is a little like, I don't know how I feel about it. We didn't do anything. We have a really good core right now. We've pretty much traded a lot of stuff away already, getting Vooch last year. We have a lot of our cap space taken up. And Cade, I want you to think about it this way, right? You're the Bucks. You've got Giannis, who's going crazy, MVP caliber, right?
Facts.
What happens? Imagine a world where Middleton gets injured, and then Holiday gets injured, and then Brook Lopez is healthy. Hold on a second. Lopez is healthy, but Bobby Portis gets injured, and then on top of that, you lose Pat Connaughton. All of them are injured at once.
Right.
That is what happened to my Bulls.
So
we lost Lonzo. We lost Caruso. We lost Levine. We lost Derrick Jones Jr. DeMar had to take a couple days off because he's the first person since Wilt Chamberlain to score 35 plus points in 7 straight games, shooting 50% from the field. So for we have had more injuries than anybody else in the East, and we're still number 1. I didn't want to do anything at the trade deadline. And yeah, everybody in the NBA has had injuries. Everybody in the NBA has had injuries. But as of right now, the team chemistry that we have is better than anything that we've had since Derrick Rose was around. right? And so for me, I don't want to change anything up. I'm happy about where we are at the trade deadline because we have a team that works well together, that plays well together, and when we're healthy, is arguably, is one of the top teams in the league. And I get that the East race is all competitive and everything. I get that everybody's been injured. But we've had more injuries than everybody. Like statistically, we've had more and longer than anybody in the East. I'm fine with us at the trade deadline. I'm fine with us sitting.
I mean, it's been affecting the Bulls too. You said it. The Bulls have had more. It's been affecting the Bucks though.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Out at the beginning. Yeah. Drew Holiday out for forever. I didn't. Something was wrong with Chris Middleton. He was out like 3 times this year. And of course, Brook Lopez is probably out for the entire season with some back something or other.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we've all had our things.
Oh, sure. But we're still going through it. This is not a had situation. We still don't have Lonzo Caruso, Levine, or Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that Caruso incident with Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Right. Anyway, how'd you feel about the Bucks deadline, Cade?
I think we did what we needed to. There wasn't a whole ton that we needed to do. And I was almost more happy with getting the picks than getting Serge Ibaka.
Really? Second rounders?
Well, we got 2 of them. It was nice. I was happy with that.
All right, that's fair.
And I mean, we needed Serge Ibaka. We needed a big guy because Giannis can't be in the whole game. And Portis is great. I love Portis.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
His energy alone is just amazing, like better than most guys in the league.
Oh yeah.
But we did need a big man, and we needed the picks. I think both of them are super important.
That's fair. It's always good for a trade toss in next year too.
I don't think they would have done the trade without the picks. I think that's for sure. And we got cash. So that's a plus as well.
That's true.
I felt good. Did what we needed to. We're in great shape.
Weird comparison here, but from Bobby Portis, Aaron Donald, big dude, guards the middle, great at hyping up all his teammates. Anyway, that was a random thought.
Dude, I know you're thinking about the Rams. You're not going off your mind until you buy that jersey.
Literally. Yeah.
All right. Well, AJ, let's talk about this.
Okay.
The biggest winners and losers from this deadline. AJ, I'll go first.
Go ahead. Be my guest, man.
I think the biggest winner from this deadline. No, you go first. I was going to say something, but I don't think it's true.
Okay. For me, one of the biggest winners at this deadline was the Boston Celtics. They have been 11-1 in their last 12, and they made a lot of under-the-radar moves that a lot of people didn't notice. They got Derek White from San Antonio. They got veteran Daniel Tice. They sent Dennis Schroeder to the Rockets. They freed up cap space with Bobo and PJ Dozier and got a second-round pick for it, so they wouldn't be penalized there. So I think that they had a really solid deadline. Something must have worked. I know it's a little bit less about the actual trades, but they built some kind of chemistry during that stretch with the trade deadline. Derek White is a great piece to add. I think he fits in really well with the offense that they're running down there in Boston. Celtics are one of my biggest winners. On top of that, the Bucks getting Serge Ibaka, I think, is absolutely huge for them. And finally, I guess Portland maybe. Portland is another big winner for me, clearing up a lot of cap space, but that's TBD depending on what happens next year in free agency. I don't know if I really have a gigantic loser on top of everything, except maybe the Pistons not getting anything for Jeremy Grant, or maybe like the Knicks just for not doing anything. But yeah, what about you, Cade?
Okay, so I had it in my mind. It's just I should have done this in a different order.
Okay.
James Harden and Ben Simmons are traded. We'll talk about it more in a second.
Yep.
But I think the Nets won that trade in a big way because you not only got Ben Simmons, who's probably going to be a lot healthier than James Harden will be in the future, but you also got Seth Curry. You got Andre Drummond. I think you got a couple picks somewhere in there. And it looked good. All you lost was James Harden and was it Paul Millsap, I think?
Paul Millsap, yep.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
I think the Nets won that one big. And I think the biggest reason is because James Harden is going to be injured a lot and Ben Simmons is probably not going to be injured a lot.
Yeah.
Losers. I was gonna say the Pistons as well. They got Marvin
Bagley, who's a good role player. Let's not diss that. Bagley's a good role player.
Yeah, but I was surprised they gave up a second round pick.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I was really surprised by that. I thought they were gonna start like stocking up their picks and stuff.
Yeah,
kind of like
I don't know. Maybe they're gearing up for something next year, though. That could be what they're doing. I mean, they're not exactly like in the race at all. But this is a team that's got Cade Cunningham, Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, Luka Garza, and now they got Bagley. So this is just going to be like a real young team over the next few years. So like I kind of get it. Free up cap space. Makes sense. Get Bagley, back and forth.
Well, AJ, I already talked a little bit about this, but take over.
Yeah. So James Harden and Ben Simmons got traded, and a lot of people have been really happy because they're saying that both teams got rid of their problem player and swapped them for each other. If I'm the Sixers, I'm hoping I get really good Harden, and this could be a really good fit in the offense because they can play. Harden and Embiid can play such pick and roll off each other right now. Joel Embiid right now is a lot of people's MVP. I haven't even decided who I think my MVP is right now because I think it's early. The race is too close to call.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
All right, everybody. Giannis is great. We know, but Cade's also biased. Look, Harden. Look,
no bias.
Joel is averaging 29-11 right now and is hard carrying the Sixers right now. Like it's not even close. They are 34-23. A big piece because of him. The biggest problem with the Sixers for me is that you gave up Seth Curry, and we don't know what kind of Harden we're going to get. If we're going to get Nets Harden, who's averaging 22 and 10 and 7, that's incredible. That is a great piece to add for the Sixers. You get an absolute star there. But if this is going to be Harden, who's going to be shooting 35% for the field, I don't know. And Cade, I agree with you. I think the Nets win this, but this is a big if for me. If Ben Simmons gets back to normal. It's been forever since he's played. Everyone's expecting Ben Simmons to come back and be this first team all defensive DPOY type guy. And I think, building a 2K team, I think it fits incredibly well. You got Kyrie running point. You're going to get Joe Harris back eventually. Andre Drummond's getting boards. I'm putting Ben Simmons at small forward or power forward because I think it's a more natural position for him than point guard, being someone down in the paint who's able to get points low, set a lot of pick and roll, set some screens high. I think it works out. You got 20 points a night every now and then from Seth Curry. I think it works out in theory for them. And then, KD comes back and KD's KD. But a big part of it depends on how well Ben Simmons is going to be when he gets back. We haven't seen him in forever. Nobody knows what he is going to play like at this point. If he's back to normal or even a little less than normal, Nets win this trade outright. But if he comes out rusty, if he comes out 50%, we're going to have to wait till playoff time because as of right now, the Nets are sitting in 8th. That's a play-in spot. And a lot can happen depending on New York mandates, KD getting healthy, how well he looks when he comes back, and of course, Ben Simmons. And I want to give this to the Nets for sure, but I got to wait until I see Simmons come back. Because at least we've seen Harden this year. At least we know what he can put up.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's it. I think we covered like all the big ones, right, AJ?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we missed any, leave it in the comment section below and we'll drop some replies there.
Yeah, cool. Well, AJ, unless you got anything else, I think I'll close this out right here.
I think I'm all good, man.
All right, guys. Well, AJ's case for Joel Embiid being the MVP was he had 29.3 points a game and 11.1 rebounds a game. Well, Giannis has 29.4 and 11.3 rebounds a game. And we'll see you next time on the one and only Allied Rivals podcast.
Peace.
And may I please inform you that the Bucks are dominating against the Sixers right now. And Serge Ibaka just hit a 3.
It's a 6-point game.